All right, here is the second installment of our subject of verb agreement. Today we're going to talk about two things, subject verb agreement with linking verbs. As a reminder, those linking verbs are am, is, are, was, were, be, been, being, and then also become. And then there are some other verbs that are sometimes linking verbs, like the word grow could be an action verb, as in the farmer grows corn, or it could be a linking verb, as in the corn grows tall. So the corn can't really actively do something in growing. So tall is describing the corn, therefore it's a linking verb. So this first set of sentences, we're going to look for that subject and we're going to try to find the verb. So when we have those linking verbs, oftentimes you maybe think that the subject is going to end up in the second half of the sentence, but ultimately it isn't. So in this first sentence, the first act was or were jugglers with flaming batons. In this case, act is our subject and the act was. So was is our verb. The second one, show tickets. Tickets is our subject. And the tickets were the first prize. So just a quick reminder that as a general rule, and I'll show you when we break the rule next, as a general rule, our subject is first, especially with those linking verbs. So now we get to move on to when we break that rule. So agreement in inverted sentences. I like to think of inverted sentences as Yoda speak. So this first sentence is going to sound a lot more like Yoda came up with it than any human. So in the cave, either sleep or sleeps the bear. In this inverted sentence, we want to ask ourselves, what is doing the action? Is the cave sleeping or is the bear sleeping? And here we realize that, of course, the bear is the thing that's sleeping. So when you have those Yoda speak sentences, you want to look toward the second half of the sentence to find that subject. So the bear, and then of course sleeps is the verb. When you have questions, the verb kind of gets split. So in this case, does that dolphin recognize hand signals? The verb is does and recognize. And so how you make that work in your head is that you answer the question with all of the words in the sentence. So you say that dolphin does recognize hand signals. And in cases like that, then you get your dolphin as a subject and then does recognize as our verb. Lastly, we have the sentences that start with either there or here. When you have sentences that start with there or here, you end up having a situation where, again, the sentence inverts. So in this case, the trainer is the subject of the sentence and goes is the verb. And then father is the subject of the sentence and is the verb. So let's take a look at what that looks like in your actual quizzes. So if we get to your first assignment, and in that first assignment, we've got this first sentence that says crashing cymbals either becomes or become the climax of the musical composition. In this case, we've got our linking verb. We know cymbals is the subject. And then cymbals become is the verb of choice. For the second assignment, we have just like that second section. In this case, we have a question. So does or do the players warm up before the national anthem is sung? When you're given that question, you remember that you invert it, you put it back into a statement. So the players is a subject, and then the players do warm up before the national anthem is sung. And that's how you do each of the assignments for this week. I hope that goes well for you. We also have a poetry paper to follow up with our work from last week, so make sure you check that out. Take care.